Good evening and welcome to Voices from Israel, brought to you by JNF UK. Voices from Israel was created in the days after October 7th to bring forward the voices of those living through it in real time. In the weeks that followed, one thing became clear. Across the British Jewish community, there was a deep sense of responsibility to the hostages, a collective determination to keep their stories alive, and an unshakable hope that they would come home. Tonight we are joined by one of the hostages who has returned and whose voice has come to represent both what was endured and the strength it took to survive it. Emily Damari was taken from her home in Kfar Aza on October 7th. Wounded in the attack, she was held captive in Gaza for 471 days. But what defines Emily's story is not only what she went through, it's who she chose to be in the face of it. With a rare kind of strength, fierce and unapologetic, since her return, her voice has resonated far beyond Israel, including here in the UK, where her British connection and the tireless efforts of her mum Mandy kept her story at the forefront of people's minds. We are honored to welcome this extraordinary young woman to Voices from Israel. Emily, thank you so much for being with us this evening.
It's an honor for me to be here with you, to speak with you, to share a bit of my story with you. So thank you, and thank you for all your very warm words that you say about me and, of course, about my great mom.
Thank you. And also I have to thank to everyone who submitted questions in advance. I'll do my best to include as many as possible during our conversation. Before we begin, please be aware that some of the content discussed may be distressing. So, Emily, our story begins on October 7th, but I would like to start our conversation on October 6th. Can you tell me a bit about yourself, your life, and your family before that turning point?
Of course. So, like I said, shalom to everyone from the JNF. It's very UK. It's very, very, very pleasure to be with you. And I heard a lot about your organization. So thank you for what you do for me and all of our community around the world. So thank you for that. And the story begins with my mom and my dad that they were met when my mom decided she will come to Israel to volunteer in kibbutz עין השלושה. קיבוץ עין השלושה, it's kibbutz near the border with Gaza too. She met some very handsome and funny guy who was my father. She fell in love. She decided to build a home and family with him. I'm the youngest of four kids, and I have a few nephews and few nieces that I really love. This is like the smallest part, but this is before the 7th of October, much, much before it.
And what was it like to grow up on the kibbutz?
The kibbutz, I always said about the kibbutz, it's the best place to grow as a children. Like you have a lot of programs and trips, and it's like all focused about the education that the children like get to know everyone in every shape they can go to. Like you just, I think it's the joyful life you could ever get. It's the most safe place to grow up. Like you don't have the timer like in any place in the world that mother and father say to you, in 11 o'clock be at home, because everyone knows everyone in the kibbutz, and this is very, very special place.
Wow, sounds heavenly. But your kibbutz is located 2 to 3 kilometers from the Gaza Strip. So how did it feel growing up so close to the border? Did you feel or experience any conflict?
So, as a kibbutz that live very, very close to the fence with the border of Gaza, we used to call it like we have the life in the kibbutz like 95% of heaven and only 5% of hell. 95% of heaven, it's because of everything that I told you, the programs, the kids, the friendship the community, everything that you got there, it's like the perfect place. But then we have the escalation that unfortunately, I said, we got used to it. And it started when I was like in my very young age. I think the most like the most strong memory that I got from my childhood is in 2008 that one of my neighbors got killed by rockets that Hamas shot uh, towards us, toward the kibbutz. Um, my neighbor called Jimmy Kdoshim, and just after, like, we in the kibbutz, we didn't have any place to get hide. Like, we have shelters, but the shelter, you need to run to the shelter like 1 minute away or 2 minutes away, while the rockets are just 15 seconds. So you don't really get the chance to get hide or something. So in one of the one of the times that we had this escalation, he got murdered. But just after what we've been through as a kibbutz, the government decided to build us a safe room, and everyone had his own safe room in his home. And then, like, we said, okay, what we got? We prefer the escalation, or we prefer to stay like in the kibbutz and what they got. And so we said, okay, we've got the escalation once in a few years or months, but we have all the kibbutz, like what the kibbutz offering us. So
Hmm.
we would like to stay there. I specifically used to live in the young adult section. This is a place, it's like a dream right now, what I'm saying to you, but it's when you got to age 18, the kibbutz say to you, now you're gonna have your best life, and you go to move out from your parents' house to live with your friend's house. Like, you start with your one friend, and then you like everyone gets his own apartment, and you live all together, and you do everything together. You do barbecues, parties, and
Like Kumuna life.
exactly like comuna. So it's one big comuna, and everyone is with everyone. Everyone do their coffee together. Everyone goes to work together. Like, this what
Life is a
was,
big party.
yeah. Yes.
But can you take us now back, unfortunately, to the morning of October 7th and what interrupted that big party? What happened the day, and at what point did you understand you were taken hostage?
So I was waking up in that young adult section in 6:30 after I heard non-stop sirens. It wasn't like the regular escalation that we used to grow up in, and we used to hear like once in a few minutes a siren or something, and that's it. It was non-stop sirens. Things in very different way, like sounds different. Like, we didn't recognize the sound that we used to recognize. We had gunshots. We had a lot of booms that we didn't recognize. Like, we used to know what is the IDF bomb, when is the IDF bombing, and when is the Hamas or the other terrorist organization shooting rockets on us. We used to recognize everything, but in that morning, everything felt very, very strange. Um, and after like half hour that I'm starting to uh, I felt like my body is cheating on me. I didn't used to be so afraid because I got used to everything,
Mhm.
but something felt very strange, and my body started to shake. And like I said, we grew up together, and we do anything for everyone. Like, I do anything to my friends that I grew up in the kibbutz with. So I'm texting to one of my friends, Gali Berman, and I'm saying to Gali, Gali, I feel like my body's cheating on me. And please, you have to come to be with me in the safe room, because I'm getting very scared, and I have just my dog with me, Chucha. And Gali, without hesitating, without anything, without thinking of himself or anything, just grab a knife while we have like non-stop sirens and non-stop rockets above our heads, and we can
Wow.
hear gunshots. He decided to go out from his house, even though it's just 15 meters. This is very, very scary to go out in this position to my house. So he just ran to my house, We sit together, something like 3 hours in the safe room, me, Gali, and my dog. And while we're sitting there for 3 hours, we started to like see in the WhatsApp groups of the kibbutz that people can start to hear like gunshots very, very close to their homes. They start to say that they can saw terrorists around their homes. And we start to understand that something very bad is happening right now. Um,
For this time, your body is still shaking and you're still feeling like that unbelievable fear.
as you see, I'm taking a sip of water because I'm feeling stressed right now. But yes, it's like, again, imagine, it's insane to say it, but imagine a kid used to rockets, but now he's very scared from those rockets and from everything that he used to be like, it was usual for us. And suddenly everything started to seem very, very different from everything or anything we could ever imagine. And we start to hear them very, very close. And in 10:30, I finally like hearing like the terrorists broke in through my window, and I'm saying to Gali, Gali, this is it, they are here. And of
Wow.
course we thought we're gonna be dead and they're gonna kill us. And a few seconds later, they just broke into our safe room. While the first thing that they do is to put their Kalashnikov in and they start to shoot. First thing that's like the first thing is happening is my two fingers got lost, and I'm trying to turn around and I'm shout to Gali, Gali, they shot my hand, they shot my hand, and I'm like, I- imagine when you close the car door, you it's like on your end, and you like, ow, and you imagine how painful it is. So imagine when your two fingers is gone, like in 1 second.
1,000.
Yeah. And I'm trying to turn around and I'm saying to Gali that they shot me. And while I'm turning around, I can hear the terrorists speaking about my dog, Chucha. And, and after, I think, 10 seconds, they just decide to kill her. They shot her in her face. Her bullet that killed her interest to my leg too. So now I'm shot. I got shot in my hand and I got shot in my leg too. So I'm bleeding everywhere. And the terrorists decide to take me and Gali outside, and we're sitting on my balcony. And while we're going out in my apartment, I can see something like 10 terrorists taking everything they can see and everything they want. We're sitting outside, uh, and I can see like all the young adult section is flaming with fire. I can see something like 70 terrorists in front of my eyes, not all the kibbutz. All the kibbutz were
Wow.
hundreds of terrorists. Um, and I can see from my right side in the parking, like a lot of car just get like bombed one after one after one. And I can't imagine that this is what my eyes see, like actually people getting very excited and ecstatic from the situation of murdering, of raping, of kidnap. Like those monsters just celebrate their lives out because of what they're doing. And while I'm sitting there outside with Gali, they put in like a gun on Gali's head, and I'm like looking at this while one of the terrorists turns to me and he said, "Lady, I'm gonna take you hospital." And I'm like, "No, no, no." I understand immediately he's not gonna take me to hospital in Israel. It's
Super.
gonna be like Shifa. And I'm saying to him, "No, please shoot me. I don't want to be alive anymore." And he said, "No, lady, I'm gonna take you hospital." And I'm like, "No, please shoot me." While his friend, the terrorist friends, put a gun on Gali's head, and I'm like, "No, no, 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 don't shoot them." And they leave Gali alone. They just cover his eyes with blanket or something. And while we're sitting outside, they're trying to figure out how they're gonna take us to Gaza. Um, w- while we're sitting there, I can see someone getting out from his apartment, and I can see Ziv Berman. This is Galit Berman, twins brother, that lived next door.
Mhm.
Um, and he's going out from his apartment with a terrorist while his eyes covered too. And they just found my car keys, found my car. They get us into the car while Gali doesn't know that Ziv is inside and Ziv doesn't know that Gali is inside. So I'm letting both of them know that they are together. And I'm like, Ziv, Gali is with us, Gali, Ziv is with us. So they would know they are together in the situation. Few moments later, very, very, very short moments, we are inside Gaza. While in the way to Gaza, we see a lot of civilians and innocent people cheering the terrorists for kidnapped people. And while they're cheering up, all those civilians go towards Israel, not towards Gaza. Um, so this is it. We are inside Gaza. Gali is the first one to get off the car. Me and Ziv going down in the same building. And I feel that it's important in that moment that I will say to Ziv that we are in the same building. So I'm letting them know and I'm shout to him, like they took him and I'm like, Ziv, just so you know, I'm in the same building with you. That was it. I'm all like, he's in the lower floor and I'm like in the floor, I don't,
Upper floor?
yeah, in the upper floor. And the first thing that I saw is a family with children, like 6 children from 1 years old to 19 years old, and a mother who like in charge of the family. Um, and they put me in the couch, and in front of my eyes, I can see someone who called my name, Emily, and I'm like, I didn't understand for a second, but then, like I said, we're a community. We know almost everyone from the kibbutz. I can recognize Agar Brodach and her 3 children, and one Avigail Idan, that she's not her children, but she got kidnapped with her. And I can see them and I'm like, what is happening? Like, what are you doing here? And she just say to me that they got kidnapped exactly the same I did. Abigail Idan was 3.5 years old while she got kidnapped, and she got kidnapped with Agar because she ran to Agar's house while she can saw in her own eyes that her father and her mother got murdered in front of her eyes. So she ran away to Agar's house and she got kidnapped with them. And after that, the terrorist, the head of the house, came to me and he said, get dressed. He threw me a hijab. And this is the prayer clothes of the Muslim girls. And then he said, I'm going to take you to the hospital. And I'm like, okay. Guess what hospital I'm getting in? The one that IDF always like getting in 1 time, 2 times, 3 times, I think in the war. And everyone said why the IDF is going to a civilian hospital to like people they did not do anything there. This is innocent people. And the first thing that I see in this Shifa hospital, this innocent hospital, is a 15 terrorists, a dead body on the floor, a lot of blood. And the first doctor that came to me said, hi, Emily. Hi, Emily. He said, hi, I'm Dr. Hamas. And I'm like, oh, so this is not an innocent hospital. And this is the house, the big, big house and safe house of Hamas. If the doctor came to me and he said to me, hi, introducing himself, I'm Dr. Hamas, you can
Almost like the
exact,
headquarters.
yes. Um, and I'm like, okay, fine. They put me down. I'm waking up after a few hours. And he said to me, listen, you don't have 2 fingers. And I'm like, okay, it's fine with me. I'm hostage in Gaza. It's much worse than to be without 2 fingers. Um, and that was it. He said to me, there is an Israeli girl here. Someone like girl with a hijab, like me exactly, on a wheelchair, came towards me. She said, "What's your name?" And I'm like, "Emily." And I'm asking her, "Where are you from?" And she answered to me, "I'm from Kfar Vradim." And I'm like, Kfar Vradim, it's in the north of Israel. Like Hamas go to Kfar Vradim. And that was it. We didn't spoke anymore. They took her, they took me. And while we continue, you will understand I was with Romy Gonen, that was the girl in the hospital, like for.
Mhm. It's just, it's unimaginable the amount of atrocities upon atrocity, and it's how can you even cope with it all at once? But then, where were you taken inside Gaza after the hospital, after Shifa, and did you stay there?
So I transferred something like 30 places in Gaza. And it was anything you can and cannot imagine. It was uh, 2 meters on 2 meters of tire storage without the options to get even the loo. It was schools, it was hospitals, it was ambulance, it was like families' houses with 3 years old. It was family houses with 18 years old. It was everything from everything. And like the first thing that I can say that I don't think there is any innocent people in Gaza, like because of what I experienced. Like I've been in schools, I've been in hospitals, I've been in ambulance, I've been
Been
anywhere
all
there.
over.
And of course I've been in the tunnels too. And imagine like a girl growing up in kibbutz near the Gaza border, while she growing up hearing about those tunnels. And I'm getting into those tunnels, and I'm like, I can't believe I'm inside. Um, and after 5 minutes in those tunnels, like I can see 5 girls in very small cage, sitting there. Those 5 girls were with me for a period of time in captivity. And one of the girls turned to me and she said, "Hey, 2 fingers." And I'm like, there is just one girl in all Gaza that knows that I have 2 fingers, and this is the girl that I met in the 7th of October. And that was after 40 days that they've been captured me in somewhere else. But just after 40 days, I met her again, and that was Romy Gonen. And we've been together from that 40 days of the war until 471 day in the war. So um,
And
that was it.
forevermore. That was the
Yeah.
beginning of a love story, a real love story.
Yeah.
And can you describe what was each day like for you in captivity?
Uh, Life in captivity, I always said it's like one day, it's like 1 week. Like the time is not moving. And if you have one word to describe it, it was miserable. And if you have a bigger word than miserable, then this was it. But although all that, I try to always take an active role, do something, like educated the prisoner, educated the terrorist somehow, like do something. Like it was something like, איך אומרים חוק?
A law
It was a law for me to like every place that I
or
go,
a
I need
rule?
a
Mhm.
rule. Yeah, it was a rule for me. To say to every terrorist that I met that the first time he would call me a prisoner, I will answer him that I'm not a prisoner. And immediately they will ask me, "You are a prisoner. Why you don't think you are a prisoner?" And I said, first, a prisoner know what he did for being a prisoner. The second is he got to eat 3 times a day. He got to shower every day. He got to speak with their family every day. And his family knows where he at, like in prison. And if you want me to be a prisoner, it's fine for me because I want 3 meals a day. I want to get shower every day. I want to see the sun and I want to speak with my family. So I would be loved to be a prisoner, but I'm not like I'm an hostage. Of course, they didn't acknowledge themselves. They used to say just, okay, like I saw, they sound like they have an interest, but they didn't care. And they used to say like, okay, you're gonna get out and our prisoners gonna get out from your prison and that's it. Like we're just waiting for our friends. Inshallah, it will be soon and you will be back home.
This is the face of defiance, what you describe. It's unbelievable that you could actually tell them that and try to demand your rights from these people.
Try
It's
it.
important people. This is so easy, however, to give in to despair. I mean, to sink into depression when facing such extreme circumstances. And so what and who actually got you through it?
First, I always say thanks to God. And in captivity, like I always believed in God, but not in that level. And when you found yourself in your lowest part of your life, you will find them much more stronger than you ever did think. I had a lot of prayers there, a lot of conversation with them. So he was the first one, and the second was, of course, that the fact that I never been alone in captivity. I was with Agar, and then with Ziv, and then with Romy, and then with the girls, and again alone with Romy. And there's a things to be alone in captivity, a girl alone in captivity, and there's a things to be with someone in captivity. So those was the things, and of course the fact that I hope that someone from my family stayed alive, and I need to survive for them. So those was the things that kept like my head think,
Above water. Mhm.
yeah, above water, exactly.
And did you know what was happening to your family while you were in captivity?
So for 6 months I didn't know anything, and actually, it was one of the hardest thing. Like I think to not knowing anything about your family, that you know that I've been with people in captivity that they are from the north of Israel. They are from the center of Israel. They know for sure that their family waiting and fight for them. And I was the only one who didn't know what is going on with their family from the girls. So it was very difficult for me. I even in my brother birthday, I didn't wrote him a birthday card. I wrote him a eulogy
Oh,
because I was sure that he and his wife and two girls got murdered in the 7th of October. This is how I felt. Um, until 6 months after, and suddenly I asked from one of the terrorists in 2:30 a.m., a very, very strange hour to ask for the TV. They can say to us no every time. In that time, they decide to say yes. They open the TV and we can see a channel from Israel suddenly work, and we can see something from the Knesset in Israel, and we see all of the mothers of the girls hostages, and I didn't see anything. And suddenly Romy turns to me and she said, Emily, someone holding your poster. And I'm like, this is my mom. And
wow.
this is how this is how I knew my mom is alive.
What
I
a
always said,
defining moment.
yeah, before like the day that I was released from captivity, that was the best day in my life. Like to know that my mom survived this horrible day. Um, I just felt very fortunate to know that she needs to be through all that awful things, that she don't know what is going on with her little kid, but that was it. Was the moment, and this is what I got. It was enough for me to make me like all the time said, you survive for your mother, you survive for your mother.
It's something to hold on to, for sure. Hope and what, as you said, God and your faith. And how important it was for you to see the demonstrations and the support in Israel and around the world for the release of the hostages. Did knowing that people were fighting for you help you through captivity?
So the demonstration was the light in the dark for me, for Romy, for I think for all the hostages who get the options to know even about it, because there are people who didn't know anything. Um, in the demonstration, like we knew like we knew because of like the start of the war, we knew it's on Shabbat day, like in Saturday, and we always said from the like to the guards, to the terrorists, please take from us everything. You can take anything, but just let us see the news in Shabbat, in Saturday, because we knew we're gonna see something, like maybe the posters, maybe someone we know, like to see if people still fighting for us. And it was insane to see all around the world, like people holding our posters and doing everything they could. So we'll be out. There was those demonstration, and of course there was the other one, the pro-Palestinian protesters. That this was the fortunate ones. Um, so it was,
Yeah, sorry.
yeah, you can.
On that context, can you tell me about the Columbia University pro-Palestinian protest you saw on TV and the conversation you had with the guards about it?
This is my favorite part.
Mine
Mm,
as well. I was waiting for it.
yeah. So I remember like nonstop pro-Palestinian protest in the Columbia University in New York for like 2 weeks in a row. I remember Al Jazeera like brought it anywhere, any place, like all the time. And I'm like, I was very like, it was hard for us to watch it. Um, but then I can see like, I have a gay radar, okay, and I'm a gay, I'm lesbian, and we have a gay radar. And I remember me sitting in front of the TV, in front of seeing the Columbia University protesters, and I'm like watching the TV, and I'm pointing at the TV, and I'm like, she's gay, he's gay, she's gay, and he's gay. If they would come into Gaza, they wouldn't get out of Gaza. I'm wondering if they know that. And I'm saying it out loud in half Arabic, half English. So the terrorist that's sitting next to me, Muhammad, of course, his name, would agree. And I can see him like with his head, like confirm it, but I want the real confirmation. So I'm like turning to Muhammad and I'm like, Muhammad, I have a question for you. And he said, yes, of course. And I'm like, if your brother, like your blood, your everything, your best brother, if he was gay, what would you do? And he said, without hesitating, without thinking, I would murder him.
Wow.
And I'm not surprised. But then like I'm looking for on the TV and I see the queers for Palestine. And I'm like, Palestine not for queers, my friends. You are for Palestine, but Palestine not for you. If you go in, you wouldn't go out. Those people believe in the jihadic way. And if they know that I'm gay, I know they would murder me. Like,
So,
it
so
was insane. It was very fortunate to see such a stupid people, doing
it's
something that
they it just shows they don't have a clue what they're talking about and what they're doing and
exactly.
the extent of the brainwash that is going there. But I'm thinking about you and how did you cope with being gay in captivity? If you had to hide, obviously you had to hide it, but did you had a cover story of some sort?
Yes, so I had a cover story, and it was my top secret. Like I preferred the terrorist would know anything or everything about me, but this one it was kept very well. The cover story was that, like I said, I'm the youngest of three older brothers. Like, so I always say to them, they said, "You are 27 years old. How does it you don't married, you don't have a boyfriend?" And I'm like, first, we are not like you. We are not getting married at 16, 15, 18 years old. We get married much after that. Um, and then I'm like, look, I have three older brothers that I really scared from them. And they said to me, when you want to be with someone, then you will be with someone. Just when you got married, just when that. And I'm like, okay, thank God. And they were like very respectful for my brothers. I'm like, oh, good brothers you have that they
And
kept
you're a
you
good
safe. Like,
girl.
yeah, and I'm a good girl. And I'm like, oh, thank God. And that was behind me. Like every place that I go, I should speak the same thing. I have three older brothers. They don't want me to get married. And they're like, okay, fine.
Wow. So now moving on to your release, were you aware it was going to happen, and what can you tell us about that day?
Uh, Like I said, I had a lot of conversation with God. I always used to be very pessimistic in like when there was a ceasefire deal on the table. I was all the time like said, it's not gonna happen, it's not gonna happen. While Romy said the opposite, it's gonna happen right now, it's gonna happen the next time. So I was very pessimistic, Romy was very optimistic. But in that ceasefire that we got out, in that deal, 2 weeks before I said to Romy, listen, I don't know, something is very strange with me. I feel like God came to me and he said, Emily, this time you're gonna be out. And I'm turning to Romy and I said it to her and she said like, Emily, please don't let me get my hopes up and then I'm gonna be disappointed. It's gonna be very hard. And I'm like, no, Romy, this time we're going out. Maybe week 2, 3, 4, but we're gonna get out. And a few weeks later, I think 2 weeks later, and we can hear a lot of shouts from the outside, like the Gazans shouting something in Arabic that means ceasefire. And Muhammad, again Muhammad, we have a lot of Muhammad, came to the door of our room and he said, congratulations girls, you're going out. Of course, me and Romy were ecstatic, we were happy, we get insane in that moment. And there is one very nice story that everyone likes to hear about that one day, that the terrorists like gave me a red sweatshirt to wear, but I'm a fan of Maccabi Tel Aviv and red shirt is a Poel Tel Aviv and this is our derby. And I turned to the terrorist and I'm telling to him, look, I can't go out with this color. I need to change it. And he said, what you need to change? Go out, go home. What are you crazy? And I'm like, no, I'm not crazy. I can't do it. It's the derby. You wouldn't understand. It's the biggest day of my life. I can't go out with red shirt. Eventually, after negotiation, I go out with the color green, and it was fine with me. So I got out.
According to, the dictations, the way you wanted to.
I had
Um,
to respect Maccabi Tel Aviv.
without a doubt. They wouldn't have forgive you otherwise. What is important to you when you think about the future moving forward? What do you want your future to look like?
um, so first, I want to be a good mother. It's a dream to after the moments you experience there and you understand every moment you can be dead in a few seconds. You want your continuity. This is, I told it right.
You're
Okay.
completely right. Accurate.
So this is what I want, and I want to be a good mother to my children. And I recently got engaged to my girlfriend Danielle.
Mazal
Uh,
tov. Mon mazal tov.
Thank you very much. And like I found her in that year, like she's the most like supported person that I've ever met. I'm grateful for her and for everything that she's doing and she will do for me. Like I chose right, and I hope to be somehow just a normal person someday in my life. And I also write in a book for a long time that I hope it's gonna be soon out.
Wow. In
Uh,
English as well.
what? Yeah, of course. I need the world will understand what we've been through. It's not just the Israeli people who already know. I need everyone in the world who will know what we've been through. Me, the other hostages. Like there is a lot of hostages that spoke in the book. So it's going to be very interesting. And I feel that my mission is to be here with you, with other communities, even with the queers for Palestine, to speak with them and to knowledge them. And this is my duty.
So important. That is, please let us know. I'm sure we'll hear about it, but let us know and update us when the book is out, because we will all rush and get it.
I'm sure gonna be there. I'm sure gonna let you know.
Thank you. And when I see you in media, why do we always keep seeing you with the smile on your face?
Uh, so I know the like all our enemies watching us all the time in the media, in the TV, everywhere. They can even maybe this interview will get to the terrorists that kept me in captivity. And I know that smile means strength. And I want them to see that it doesn't matter what I've been through. And this was just a very small of what I've been through. I was a girl in Gaza. It was awful things to experience every day, to think about the day you're gonna be raped, and a lot of very, very, very bad situation that we had there. And although all that, to sit here with you, speak with you, smile to in their face, it's like you can't break me and you won't break me. And so this is why I'm smiling all the time.
לא תנצחו אותי. Amen.
Exactly.
Now for just a couple of questions from the audience. So Miss Karen Myers asked, what have you learned about yourself since this experience, and can you say in what ways it has changed you?
Um, the value in my like for this, like the value for that, it's insane. The value of speaking with my mom, to say I love you to my friends, like everything, it's like in a whole nother level. Although I was very thankful for everything I had, but right now I'm experiencing everything in a different way. And this is what I learned, like to appreciate everything that I've got, to appreciate every sunrise that I see or every sunset that I see. I think this is the biggest thing that every hostage will ever answer to you.
For sure. We also had an event with Omer Shem Tov. He said exactly the same thing, that everything
And
is
we didn't spoke with each other.
yeah. Mrs. Michelle Gordon would like to know, how did you first feel about your injury being made into a symbol of hope, defiance, resilience, and empowerment?
Ah, this is a good question. Actually, all that thing that I, like in very, איך אומרים, תמימות,
A naive way? In a naive
in
way?
very naive way, very normal way, that I thought about that one moment that I will speak with my family and show them what they did to me, and I will say to my family, "Look what they did to me. I beat those bastards." This is what exactly what I said to my family, and this was out and everywhere, all around the world, and people saw that one with that smile, and it gave people hope and strength. And I didn't think for a second that this is what they're gonna like this symbol would give to people, this kind of thing, but it feels like the biggest honor that I could ever get. And like I'm just thanking for God, like for it's like I think everything is from him, like how I did it, the way it got out, like maybe the world should saw that thing that will bring our all the Jewish community and all around the world this strength and hope and love and everyone and what he feels about that simple hand that's been through a lot. And I'm just honored to be some inspiration for people. It's like insane for me.
It's insane for us. You're the biggest inspiration and fill us with hope. It's unbelievable. And on a final note, how does it feel to be here tonight? I mean, is there a message maybe that you want to convey to the Jewish community leaders and obviously to our viewers?
So yes, I always said that we have enemies anywhere and everywhere, and we need to stay united, and we need to continue be nice to each other, and remember our roots, and remember that people all around the world wants us to be in horrible experience. You can see it anywhere. You can see it just like in this week in London, like he just saw someone with a kippah on his head and they decided to stab him just because he was Jewish. So remember that if we're not gonna stay united, um, it's gonna be a problem for us. So we need to be nice to each other and remember all the time to be good for each other and remember our roots. And this is it. I think this is the most important thing because if we're not gonna stay united, they're gonna broke us or
Mhm.
break us.
Mhm. I couldn't agree more. And Emily, on that note, thank you so very much for being with us and for your openness and your honesty, your courage in sharing this story. I'm sure it's not easy, but hearing from you has been deeply meaningful, deeply, deeply meaningful. Thank you so much.
It was my pleasure, and thank you, everyone. And again, like I said in the beginning, continue do what you do. You do it the best. And thank you for having me. It was an honor and a privilege to speak with you. תודה רבה.
תודה ענקית מכל הלב.
תודה.
Sadly, the impact of October 7th is ongoing, with many of the communities affected still displayed, while others have returned to and continue their lives under the effect of what has happened, all trying to piece together their life. JNF is strengthening communities by supporting several of the kibbutzim most affected, including Kfar Aza, helping families take the first steps towards rebuilding their lives after unimaginable loss and trauma. If you would like to read more or support our efforts, please click the link in the chat box. Before we conclude, you are all welcome to join our next webinar with futurist Professor David Pasig, who will share his fascinating insights about what's in store for Israel. The registration link is now in the chat box. Thank you all for joining us this evening. I'm Dana Zohar, and this has been Voices from Israel.